Hi everybody, welcome to our Facebook Live on photographic equipment. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes here just to let anybody who might come on late or in case there's some lag time because we have not done a lot of these Facebook Lives, so we're not exactly sure how it works. Last week's worked pretty good, but like I said, I'm not sure when everybody comes in and whether I can be heard or seen or not. So I usually wait for Susan to type over here in my comments. Okay, good. She says she can see and hear me, so that's great. Um, so let's talk a little bit before I give people time to get in here. This little picture behind me, every week when I do these Facebook Lives, I'm going to be putting a new image or video behind me. And I'm going to use the magic green screen to do that. So let's get into our photography stuff here. Let's get into our photography equipment. And I see that Debbie May Kershaw is here. Hi, Debbie, from New Hampshire. Um, and let's see. And Deb says hi. All right, I'm going to just click off of here for a minute, and I'm going to go on to how we're going to go about doing this photography equipment session tonight. And feel free to type in the comment section questions anytime you want, and I'll pause and I'll try to answer them if I know the answer to them. Okay, if not, I'll find out for them and let you know next time. But let's just take a quick peek here while I'm waiting for people to come in. This is the equipment that I usually take out with me when I go on a photo shoot. And mostly this is just, my fun stuff. I have specialized equipment if I go on a real estate shoot, or obviously have special things that I have for a drone photography. But, if you look right here, you can see that, you can see that I have a couple of cameras there. I always bring two cameras with me, and one is always a backup. But I usually always just use the one on the right, the Nikon D800 full frame camera, because it has a higher resolution. And I'm going to explain that all in a minute here. But what I want to do, there's Mike Beek. Hi, Mike, you got here earlier this week. Last time you were out, what I was doing here so late. So good to see you, Mike. Thanks for stopping by. All right, so can't see you. Sue's typing me something. You can't see my broadcast? Can you see a screen share, Sue, that shows my photography equipment? Okay, computer screen, no cameras. Okay, all right. Just me. You can just see me. Okay, I'm just doing tests here. Like I said, we're fairly new to this system here, so there's going to be some bugs, and obviously we have one here right now. Hopefully it won't last too long, so Susan's typing things in here for me. So Susan, let me just see here. Let me get onto ecamm here, and let me just go to screen share. And Susan, can you see the screen now? I know there's a little bit of a lag. I just want to make sure everybody can see what I'm talking about here. I guess I probably jumped to things before I could see them. So if you just type in there, Sue, as soon as you see it. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Let me see what I've got up here. Okay, good. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button, everybody. Okay, and Stephanie Stridham. Hi, Stephanie. Another photographer that we know. Not sure, Stephanie. Did you go to a whale watch, Stephanie, this week also? I'm not sure. I know one of the photographers in our group here had gone over there after we had done our whale watch. But anyways, I won't ramble on. Let's get to what you wanted to talk about. Hi, Stephanie. Okay, so what I'm going to do and what I'll do in all these Facebook Lives is I always do a little bit of me and Sue or myself will do a video beforehand, a short 5 to 10 minute video to kind of keep me from rambling on like I just did. Okay, so it'll kind of encapsulate everything. You did do a whale watch and went to Mount Washington. Cool. Okay. We had a great time on our whale watch. We haven't done Mount Washington yet, but pretty soon. Pretty soon. I'm just talking to Stephanie. I see all the comments over here, so I get distracted very easily. But anyways, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a quick 10-minute video that's going to kind of go over, all the different equipment, and for it might be a little basic for some of you, but we'll answer any questions that you want to know about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the video on here. I'll let you listen to that, and then we're going to come back to this PDF that I have on the screen right here. So let me come back here so you can see me, and I'm going to put the video on. That's going to play for 10 minutes and 3 seconds. Ask any questions you want over here. I can see them on the right, and Sue's letting me know. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go over some about how to research equipment, where to find it, and things like that, and answer any of your other questions. So let me put this video on real quick. It's a quick 10-minute video that kind of goes over some of the different equipment, and then we'll get into the PDF after. All right, let's talk a little bit about photo equipment. In this photograph, you can see all the equipment that I take out on a photo shoot with me. Now, I know most of you are never going to need this much equipment, but I just figured I'd show you what I bring out with me, and in the coming slides, we're going to go over some of the different things that you might want to get for equipment for yourself before we get into learning about what to do with that equipment. So I'm just going to read you one of my favorite quotes here by Chase Jarvis, which is, "The best camera is the one that's with you." And what he says is, it's easy to get caught up in a competition to see who has the best equipment. There's always a better lens, more megapixels, or a higher grade of camera. This photography quote is a good reminder that it's capturing the images that really matter. And then in the blue, what I say is, that being said, the camera that most of us have with us is the one in our mobile phone. Whether it's an iPhone, Android, or any of the great models available to us all, they all take great photos and video. And the endless apps available make them the only camera you need to capture just about any event or situation. But a lot of us want more than that, so let's talk about some other options. The first option, and the least expensive probably after your camera phone, is a point and shoot camera, and they come in many models. All the models I'm going to show you in this video are the top models listed in Google for 2016. So, and I'm going to show you some different ones too, but let's start off with this Canon here. This Canon PowerShot SX710 HS is a 20.3 megapixel camera. It has a 30x zoom, which means if you look on the bottom of the camera there, it says 4.5 to 135 millimeters. That's what that will zoom out to. Okay, it also does HD video, and it costs around $300. So that's your point and shoot camera. Now let's look at the next camera that you might want to get, which would be an SLR camera, a consumer end of it. And this one here is a Nikon D3300 digital SLR. It has 24.2 megapixels and usually comes with an 18 to 55 interchangeable zoom lens. All the SLR cameras do have interchangeable lenses, whereas the point and shoot is just a fixed lens. Alright, it also does HD video and sells for around $500. Now you can also pick this camera up, or Canons or any of the other type of ones that are in this class, as kit sets, and that would be this camera just like it is, but it also have a 55 to 200 millimeter lens, and it probably have a 32 gigabyte card, and that way there you can cover wide angle right up to telephoto and shoot almost any situation. The next camera we're going to look at is an SLR professional camera. This is a Nikon D800. This is one of the cameras that I use, and this is a 36.3 megapixel camera. Now, also a SLR camera with interchangeable lenses, and this is sold body only. In other words, this one usually doesn't come with a lens, and it's $2,500, but it is a professional version. It also shoots HD video. Now, one of the newer additions to the camera market are these mirrorless cameras, and they're made by other companies besides Sony, but I think Sony is leading the market with the best cameras for them. And I have two of them that I have listed here. The one on the left is a Sony A6000 with a 16 to 50 millimeter lens. Now these are interchangeable on both the cameras, and this A6000 is 24 megapixels and also does HD video. It sells for around $700. The one on the right is a Sony A7R2. This has one of the highest resolutions on the market at 42.4 megapixels, also shoots HD video, and sells for $3,200, and also that is without a lens. Okay, so the lenses for these here are Carl Zeiss lenses, and they're usually pretty expensive. Mirrorless cameras are just what they say. They don't have a mirror inside of them, so they're smaller, they're quieter, and they have an electronic viewfinder. And because of that, in live view, which means if you look at the image that you're going to photograph on the back of the camera, it gives you a faster autofocus. So these are up and coming, and you're going to see a lot more different models of them going forward. Now, these are some of the top brands of cameras, but by far not all of them. But you got Sony, you got Canon, you got Leica, Pentax, Olympus, and Nikon. And like I said, there are others, but these are usually the top ones that come to mind. And I put a link in here called dpreview.com down below. So if you ever get a recommendation for somebody or you see one that you might like, go to that website and you can be pretty sure that they've reviewed it and they do a very complete review, and they'll let you know everything good about the camera, the bad things about the camera, the features, and you'll be happy to go there. It'll help you make a decision on what camera you want. Now you're also going to want to have lenses for the camera, for the interchangeable cameras. So again, here I put, three companies. I put Canon, Nikon, and I put the Sony lens. And in the middle here, I have a photo chart which shows 18 millimeters up to 300 millimeters, and those are wide angle to a telephoto and what it looks like, for the same scene. Now, on the left-hand side here, we have a telephoto lens by Canon. It's also a macro. And let me just explain that normally your eye sees at 50 millimeters. So if you look out at a scene, you see this one in the chart that says 55 millimeters. That's approximately what you see when you look out the window or you're looking at the scene. That's how your eye sees it. Anything below that is a wide angle. Anything above that is a telephoto. So again, this one on the left, this telephoto and macro by Canon, is 100 millimeters. So it's a moderate telephoto. It also is a macro lens. So it takes really nice close-up pictures of flowers or bugs or any type of thing that you'd want to take a close-up picture with. The lens in the middle here is a wide-angle lens. All right, and it's also a full frame lens. Okay, so if you can read on it, it says it's a 20 millimeter, and on the chart you see 18 millimeters, so that's approximately what your eye is going to see when you look at that. The camera lens on the right is a zoom lens. That's a 24 to 70 zoom lens by Sony, so that's a moderate zoom. And you can see it's also a full frame lens, so you can see at the 24 what your eye sees, and approximately the 85 is a little more than what your eye would normally see. Again, that's also a full frame lens. And when I say full frame lens, like I say, if it's a 50 millimeter lens, it sees 50 millimeter, like if it's just a regular 50 millimeter lens. But there's also what's called a cropped lens. So if one of these was a cropped lens, say for like that D3300 that I told you about, that only comes for cropped lenses. So if you bought a 50 millimeter lens for that camera, it usually magnifies everything by 1.5. Canon is sometimes 1.6 or 1.7. So in other words, what that means, if you put a 50 millimeter lens on there, it's going to see at 75 millimeters. So instead of like the 55 that you see, it's going to be more like the 85. So that's what you have for options for lenses. And there's way more than this. These are just to kind of give you an idea. Also, you want to know about some of the photo accessories that you might want. You're not going to want everything that I had up in my picture, but let's take a look at a couple of things you have here. So in the top left here, we have external flash units. These are a little more powerful than the flash units that come in the camera themselves. So some people want more than that, especially if you're getting into photography seriously. Down on the bottom left, those are SD cards or flash cards, and that's what your images get stored on when you take your pictures in the camera. And the higher the number, the more pictures you can put on them. They come in an SD card, a mini SD card, and flash cards, so there are different things depending on the type of camera that you have. In the middle here, we have a tripod. I think everybody knows what a tripod is, and everybody should have a tripod, and that'll be very helpful in the lessons we're going to teach you going forward here. Now, in the upper right, we have a camera bag, or that one's actually a backpack. So there are all kinds of different types of things to get for that. I prefer the backpack, and you can make your own choices on that. Again, there'll be all kinds of different options for it, but this is a little more comfortable. You can store more things in it. In the bottom right corner here, we have a polarizing filter. Okay, I like a polarizing filter because it's a glare away from the certain scenes, and it also protects your lens. Okay, if anything hits your lens or something like that, I'd rather have it do it to a $10 filter than a $2,000 to $1,000 lens. So those are just a couple of the accessories. There's many, many more, and we'll talk about those in upcoming videos as we go forward. But those are some of the things that we want to talk about with photo equipment. And like I said, we will get into more things depending on what type of photography you're going to get into in later videos. Okay, take me a second to figure out how to get back into my headshot here to talk to you, but that's just a quick little explanation of some basic equipment and things like that. I'm also going to go over and show you how to research your equipment for things that you might want. And as we go along later on, we'll show you more special equipment, not in this particular video, but like I say, this picture behind me was obviously not taken with a regular camera. This was taken with a drone, and we're going to do a whole series on the drone and some of the models available and what they can do and stuff like that. And I see, Stephanie was saying in the comments that, she's looking to grab one of those Sony mirrorless cameras, and I'm looking at it too, although I'm looking at the Nikon D850. So that particular set of equipment that you saw was from 2016, and I figured I'd put an older video in there because probably more of us have cameras from then. I'm probably getting ready to look at new ones, so I will be updating them. And when I get into this PDF underneath here, this one's a little newer, but I'm not going to go through everything there. I just kind of want to talk over a couple of things and then see if anybody has any questions. Like I say, I want to try and keep these brief, but I'll stay as long as we need for people that have questions and things like that. So let me get back to the screen share here and get into talking about how to research some of your equipment. And just so that you know, I'm working on a membership area for you that will have all of these PDFs for you so that you can bring them and look at them on your camera and things like that. Or your iPhone, or your Android phone. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be specific. Everybody has different things. So let's go here, and this is kind of an updated one. So I'm going to run through these real quick and get down to the research part. But again, I talk about let's see, let's get underneath here to it. Sue, the page is Fatal Lakes Power. Thanks, Sue. Let's see, Sue, can you still see this my background here? Just want to make sure. Sorry, folks. Yeah, look, I got a little lag here, and I didn't. So, can you still see the screen share that I'm putting up there, Susan? Or like it should be showing my desktop, but I just want to make sure that it is. Yes, no. Okay. The picture behind it. Okay. I see your keynote. Well, that's what I want you to see. Okay. So let's just see. So let's scroll up here a little bit. Hi, Bruce. Bruce Wedding is a marketing friend of mine. He just hopped on here, and Bruce. Yes. Oops. Okay. Sue's yelling at me. I'm doing something wrong. Let me get back here. Let's go to my headshot here. All right. I'm hitting.
Typed in yes, and someone else typed in yes. We see it.
Okay, good. Okay, yep. Sue's letting me know she's upstairs, making sure I do everything right here. And anyways, welcome, Bruce. Bruce is somebody that I'll be interviewing later on. Bruce does some pretty incredible night photography and telescope photography and things that I have not done before and understand. So at some point in the future, we'll see some cool things that he's doing. But anyways, let me get back on track here. Everybody sees what I'm doing here. All right. So again, this is the updated PDF that I have, and it just has some of the same information that I showed you in the first one, except they're newer cameras. All right, and it talks a little bit about smartphone and tablets. And I'm going to make this available to you so you have it to refer to on your computer or on your phone or anything else like that. Okay, and it explains a little better the full frame versus the crop sensor. Okay, a little bit more about zoom lenses and full frame lenses and filters. And sorry to fly through here, folks, but I covered this before, and I don't want to be repetitive here. So let's get down to where we want to see things. And this is researching your equipment. All right. So whenever I'm thinking about getting new equipment, there's a few places I go and a few things that I do. The first thing I like to do is I like to get on to Amazon and type in and see what they're saying about it. And I price it and things like that because they're pretty competitive price wise. But this is kind of what I want to see right here. I want to see the questions that people are asking. I want to see what they're getting rated at, things like that. Are you not seeing me, Sue?
I see you.
Yep.
You asked if I could see your screen, and I said yes. Bruce Wedding said yes, and then you shut it off.
Oh.
So we're still not seeing your keynote.
Okay. Sorry, folks.
Guess you need a longer nap next time.
I guess so. All right. Well, I guess I'll have to bounce back and forth here. It'll be a little bit all over. Let's see what Mike's saying. He's a football streaming videos and photos. Is a good camera. A Panasonic G9. Yeah, I didn't mention that, Mike. Mike Beak was just mentioning in the comments that he has a Panasonic G9, and Panasonics are also an awesome camera. And I believe they're also wireless cameras, but you can chip in on that, Mike. I'm not sure. But anyways, like I was saying on the information here from Amazon, I will go to Amazon, I will check out the camera that I want, and then I'll also take and I like to see what the customer reviews are because that tells you a lot. I don't think they're canned reviews. They're pretty accurate, and I usually buy things from Amazon or Best Buy when it comes to that. So let me just click down here and move to the next slide. Okay. And then get back up to here. Sorry, this is not how it's going to work next week, but I'm just a little off on how to share my screen. All right, so, and then they also have these different questions that people will answer that will probably be a lot of the same questions you have when you're going to buy new equipment. So this will answer a lot of things for you before you get out. And I'll also go, I like to go to, let's see, Best Buy. But before we get to Best Buy, let's talk about DP Review because I mentioned that in the previous video that I did for you. And DP Review does an incredible intensive job on giving a review on any camera that you can think of. All right, so whenever I want to buy a camera, I always go there and okay, Mike says yes. The Panasonic G9 is a wireless. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so that's good to know because I didn't mention that, Mike, and some other people might have that, or it might be a consideration for them. So that's like when you could go to DP Review or Amazon and check them out, and just once you go to the site that I have here, DP Review, you can type in the camera that you have, and it gives you just like say an amazing review, and you'll know whether that's good for you. But some people they want to probably go and see what the camera feels like and everything else. So if that's the case, then a lot of times I'll go to Best Buy. Okay, but I also in this particular slide that you'll see that I have Sam's Club, BJ's, Costco, Amazon, B&H. Those are all places that you can get them. But I found that Best Buy seems to have the cameras right from the most basic all the way up to the the professional models. So you get to see how they work with the lenses, see if you like the controls, everything else like that. Mike likes DP Review. Awesome. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what I got next. Okay, they also have one of the reasons I like to buy from them sometimes is when you buy from Best Buy, they have a really good protection plan. And hi to Rennie and Nicole and Barb. Sue's telling me the people that are jumping in here, so that's awesome. I'm glad you all popped in. But like I say, if you decide to buy your camera at Best Buy, they have for anywhere from $50 to a couple $100 depending what camera you have. They have a great protection plan. I mean, you can drop it or whatever else, and supposedly they'll take care of it. I've never had a problem with mine, but their program seems to be the best. So let me go to my next slide here. Okay, now another thing that a lot of times, if you're really serious into photography, a lot of the lenses that you want are really expensive. Okay, and like for every lens that I buy for my Nikon D800 is $1,000 and up, and I think for the Sony ones, and Mike, probably your G9 is the same thing. And hi, Teresa. Um, Glad that everybody's popping in here. But the lens rent, if you go to this company called Lens Rentals, okay, like say I wound up buying, I do a lot of real estate photography, so I needed a really wide angle lens because I found out that a lot of rooms are very tight. So I rented a 15 to 30 lens that cost $1,500. But before I bought it, I rented it from this lens rental company, and I think it was only like $30 or $40 for a couple of days, and I went out and used it, and I loved it, and I wound up buying the one that they had right there for them, and I got a discount. So sometimes you get a discount from them, but you can get cameras, you can get lenses, you can get all kinds of equipment from this company, Lens Rentals. They're really good, and they send you all the good packaging and everything you need. So let me just see what I've got next here now. Oh, good. I can just do it like this. I don't have to do the crazy thing I was doing before. All right, and another suggestion I make for you is to keep all your accessories in original packaging for when you resell, and I do that every couple of years on eBay. And if you have your original packaging, it makes a big difference. They seem to it makes a better picture when you're selling for it, and people like to have the original packaging. And like you can see down here in this particular, I don't know if you can see my mouse here. Like I say, Sue will have to give me a review on what I did here with everything. But okay, so that's kind of it. I've probably gone over my 30 minutes here, and I don't know if anybody here has any questions or anything they want to know. I know that a couple people sent me in questions through Facebook, and one of them was a very technical question about reciprocity, and I will answer that when I figure out how to explain it to you in an easy way. And I'm not saying that you're not smart. I'm just not smart enough to explain it to you in an easy way. So I'll have to work on that. And another person asked me what drones I use. I use DJI drones. I started out with a Mavic Pro, and now I have a Mavic Pro 2. And I'm going to me and Susan are going to go out and do a video for you, for people that might be interested in that, to show you what they both look like, how they fly, and what pictures come along with it. But that's kind of it for the this particular Facebook Live. And I'll wait and see if anybody puts any questions in here besides that. If you don't put them in today, there'll be a recording up on Facebook here that'll be right from the Facebook Live. And ask your questions there, and I'll certainly answer them for you. And again, this later in the week when I do my next Facebook Live, I'll show you where you're going to be able to get all these Facebook Lives and all these interviews that I'll be doing. Like I say, I'm setting up a nice membership site, and it's just about done and ready to go. Um, so I guess that's it. So again, I want to thank everybody that showed up, and if you have any questions, whether it's tonight or later on, put them in there. Probably it's going to be next Sunday at 9. If that's not convenient, put it in there. But we'll kind of go with that now because that works pretty good for me. I've been kind of crazy busy with the real estate stuff right now. Okay, so I guess that's it. Let me see here. Let me get on here. So. You have to look at me one last time. Oh, you're welcome, Mike. Thanks for coming in, and thanks for contributing all that information and things like that. And Bruce, thank you too. I'm looking forward to talking to you about some of those things that I haven't done yet, and I think that'll be really interesting. The pictures that you put in the Facebook group were pretty amazing, so I'm looking forward to that. And everybody else, thanks for coming in. I'm going to sign off and quit saying thanks for coming in, and I'll talk to you next Sunday at 9. See you later.